Hi everyone, this is Korosh Erfani and today is Friday, March 6th, 2026. We are in the sixth day of the war waged by Israel and United States against Iran, and I would like to share with you some ideas about what is going on. The first thing is that we have a new narrative by the Americans, and of course, on the other hand, by their masters in Israel, according to which the Iran is done. We didn't know, but we must know that the Iranian regime is completely done, is over. Now everything had been obliterated, completely annihilated, and there is nothing anymore left for the Iranians. I think we have a very good sample of madness that is completely installed in the White House and also in Tel Aviv, because they have lost their contact with reality. So everything is with the numbers and the reports that are not checked nor verified. So they are just reproducing these reports that are given to them by those who are fabricating this reality, a completely fake reality. So according to Mr. Trump, Iran doesn't have any army anymore, no navy, no army, no air force, nothing, absolutely nothing. And the United States and Israel are victorious, and now we are going to have almost the end of the story, right? But when you present such a narrative, you have to coordinate with what is going on the ground, right? So when you have to send, according to some sources, they are sending a third aircraft carrier to the region, which is the case for the aircraft George H.W. Bush. Now they are sending the third one, after Gerald Ford and Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier. Now the third one is sent over there in order to participate in the operation that's going on over there. So I don't know why it's necessary to send a new carrier strike group when you say that everything is over and Iran doesn't have navy, Iran doesn't have army, nothing. Everything is done. So in order to understand what's going on, I would like to use the concept of preemptive victory. Usually we use this word for talking about preemptive attack or something like this, but preemptive victory is a concept that I suggest to understand the precipitation of Trump and the company in order to show themselves victorious. This happens usually when you are not able to accept that you have entered a very bad situation. This is what we call a quagmire, right? When you enter in a quagmire, everything that you do, the least move that you carry out, makes you more sunk in the quagmire, right? In the muds. So this is what is happening. They are realizing that they started something huge, big, and unmanageable, just because Israel wanted that, and Israel didn't care that if it will be catastrophic or disastrous for the United States, because, as I told you in the previous videos, the objective of Israel is to completely sacrifice the United States, right? They want Israel wants the United States go down to the bottom of the unimaginable catastrophe for the benefit of Israel, of course, right? For the advantage of the Zionism. This is what they want. So in order to do so, they made everything that's necessary for bringing Trump into this misadventure. The first lever was Epstein file, and we saw that accidentally today more documents came out, according to which there is the direct involvement of Trump in sexual activity with the underage girl, with someone who can witness that, right? This is new. So this is just to give Trump an idea that you must not stop, you must not slow down the operation, and you have to go to the end of the hell, right? So the other one is the idea of the plot of terror for Mr. Trump. Mossad Israelis are making him believe that Iranians, not the Israelis, the Iranians are trying to kill you, right? So this plot has an ambivalent dimension. Let me explain it. On the one hand, if you take it at face value, it means that, yeah, really there is a serious risk of assassination of the United States president by Iranian. That's if you take it really at face value. But on the other hand, is a message for Trump that if there is the idea that some forces, Iranian, Shia, Muslim, or someone wants to kill you, probably at a given moment, at the end of the day, they will kill you. So which means that you have really interest to collaborate with us and obey us, right? And under our order, do whatever we want. Otherwise, it's possible, we know that, we the Israelis know that the Iranians want to kill you, which means that you will be killed. If you don't do whatever we want, you will be killed. And we have the case of John F. Kennedy, and we know how Israelis kill him. So it's very simple to make understand, even though the level of intelligence of Trump is not maybe to that level, but at least he can understand that if he doesn't follow the Israeli agenda, he will be killed on behalf of Iranians, right? Under the label or name of the Iranian plot. So, as you can see, all the levers are at the hands of Israeli in order to put pressure on Trump, Epstein file, and the possibility of assassination, so that he keeps going on, in the direction that had been dictated by Israelis. So that's why he is sending effectively more forces, and we have another news according to which he is sending even the airborne forces to Iraq for facilitating most probably the boots on the ground in Iran. This is what Israelis want, so that they can destroy completely the country and also occupy the country in order to deliver it to Israelis, right? Or to Israel's representative over there. So that's why it's possible to see more and more engagement, involvement of the United States in this war, with the rationale of the quagmire, right? Once you are there, you cannot do anything. But beyond this narrative of preemptive victory, I think we have to be attentive about the reality. And the reality is that the things are not really very bright and hopeful for neither Israel nor the United States. We have the news according to which the missile attacks of Iran over Israel start to be really overwhelming, because right now they have more and more attack with less and less missiles, which means that the Iranians have now a kind of upper hand over Israel, right? For two reasons. First, they could neutralize some of the defense system of Israel and the American, around the Persian Gulf and also in the pathway between Iran and Israel. Also, Iran could attack and destroy completely several defense systems, radars, of Israeli defense Iron Dome within Tel Aviv and other areas. So now there is much more possibility for Iranian missiles and drones to go over there without being chased by lots of, impediment, anti-missiles, and so on. So that's why right now Iran is using less missiles. The Iranians are launching a limited number of missiles and drones over there with higher level of success for getting to the targets. So the paradoxes can make us understand that something is beneficial for the Iranians. Sending less missiles, so keeping the reserves, right? Consuming less what they have, and at the same time targeting more and more, hitting more and more. And the second reason is that now they have a very good idea about how to target the sensitive parts of Israel, because some of parts of Israel are now very known to Iranians, and they know how to maneuver in order to reach the targets, and they are doing so. And it looks like that they don't have any more need of acting quantitatively, with a huge number of that. So the approach of the Iranians is getting to be qualitative, targeting exactly what they want and hitting them. So we have the witness and the people who are there, and they are telling us that the things are not really good for Israel. For example, this guy is a Pakistani or Indian in Israel, and he's reporting as a citizen, or as a migrant over there. He's telling us that the Iranians are really damaging with strength over there. It says, Indian journalist returning from Israel drops a truth bomb. So he said, even bunkers aren't safe. People died deep inside them. Okay, Iranian missiles sometimes hit without sirens. Because now the Israelis don't have anymore that system that can detect the missiles from the moment they are launched. So they can only detect it a few minutes ago, a few minutes before arriving to an area within Israel, and that's why in some cases they don't have really time to send any alert to the citizens, and there is only the sirens at the moment when the missiles arrive on the sky of Israel, and a few seconds later they are hitting actually their target. He said Israeli government blocks hospital access, hides casualties, lies about its losses, and doesn't allow filming. So you see, because the social media are in the hands of the Israelis, the Zionists, the mainstream media, same thing. So they are able to manage effectively the main narrative regarding what's happening. So what they are trying to do, as I told you, the preemptive victory is that. So to giving only and only the information regarding the damages of their enemy, right, and almost nothing about themselves. For example, there are some sources, as I told you, there are not really official sources. That's why we must be cautious about what we said. But there are many things talking about, for example, that there are 6 generals of Israeli army that had been killed, 32 agents of Mossad, 78 agents of Shin Bet, 198 officers of the Air Force, Israeli Air Force, 462 soldiers, 11 nuclear scientific, and 423 reservists, with several hundreds of, so we are talking about a manifold of casualties over there, just the citizens, the civils. So is it true or not? We don't know, but we cannot know because according to some sources, if you publish something in Israel right now with regard to what happened there, you can have the punishment 5 years of prison for having published a video from the locations that had been hit by the Iranian missiles. So can you imagine how censorship is strong over there? And we can understand why we have less and less information with regard to what is going on, and more and more information regarding Iran, of course. Same thing for the United States. Right now, they are seriously insisting that up to now we have just 6 soldiers killed, just 6. But we know that it's not true, because when you see that all the locations, all the military bases in the Persian Gulf, Arab countries had been hit, had been evacuated, even when they were in hotels, for example, they have been hit and followed, targeted by the people. We had a video from one senator, Senator Murphy, talking about this U.S. confirmation. Iran is tracking secret sites and accurately targeting American personnel in the region using drones. This is U.S. Senator Chris Murphy is saying that Iran has become aware of the locations of some of the most secret and sensitive American facilities in the region. What does it mean? It means that the Iranians now can effectively follow any move of the American forces in the region and hit them with drone or something, right? And Senator Murphy is telling us that in recent days there were several deaths and injuries among U.S. forces over there. So we don't know how many people have been killed or injured, because there is this idea of controlling narrative in such a way that we can carry out our preemptive victory. All right. Now let's think about if this narrative is not true, which looks like, which seems the case, really. We are going to discover that very soon, right? A few days, a few weeks, we will get to the core of the truth, and we know how many people have been killed, injured, or what were the damages, material damages to the U.S. and Israeli armies, and so on and so on. But let me come to a very important point. We know that Israel is not able to deal with any protracted war, any prolonged war, right? Israel is not able to deal with the war of attrition. Anything for long term could be fatal for Israeli army, because it's not trained for that. And if you see the history of Israel, you can see that all the wars that it waged against Arab countries, Lebanon, Gaza, West Bank, here and there, are effectively the short-term operation, the short-term war, right? So it's not able to accept anything that is in the case of the protracted operation or wars. Now, we know that the Iranians have been preparing themselves for this situation from almost 20 years ago, from let's say 2005, when Dick Cheney says that we are going to invade Iran as Iraq and hit them and so on. So the Iranians knew that at a given moment they have to face the reality of being attacked by the United States, by Israel, and they have to resist and stand up for long term. They knew that, and most probably they are ready for that. It's not the case of the United States. It's not the case of Israel at all. So which means that now we have a situation in which the countries that initiated the war, that triggered this operation, were not initially able to support anything that can become a war of attrition, and the country that had been attacked had been also ready for that, for a long-term war. What would be the result? The result is that both of them, the United States and Israel, are extremely fragile. Look at this number that belongs only and only to today, Friday, March 6th, 2026. We are talking about the stock market, and as you see, just during one day, $805 billion had been wiped out from the U.S. stock market in this day. $805 billion. So we know that yesterday was even worse, right? In my previous video, I showed you the numbers. It's a matter of more than 1 billion. So during this week, if I am not wrong, because there are calculations, between 2 to 3 trillion dollars had been wiped out, had been completely removed from the US stock market. And you know that we got the news today for the job market with something like 96,000 jobs lost during the month of February. Just for 1.28 days, 96,000, almost 100,000 jobs lost, So now in the United States, you have something like 1,300,000 people who lost their job for 1 year and 2 months, right? So it could be even more because we don't have this number. I am adding this 100,000 almost to 1,200,000 people that we had for the first year of Trump presidency. Other catastrophic elements are, for example, here underlined by Colonel Douglas MacGregor, talking about this. He said the crew in the White House have no idea what the consequences will be of taking 25% of the world's energy offline. He is talking about the share of the Persian Gulf countries in the global market of energy, 25%. So he said it will be a disaster 1 million times worse than COVID, right? COVID-19. Now he is talking about 1 million times worse. So regarding LNG, the gas, so LNG shipping rates soar 650% from $40,000 to $300,000 per day. So can you imagine Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, without any export of oil, gas, and the consequences of that? I am pretty sure that those who are in the White House or in Tel Aviv, they know the meaning of this for the economy, for the American economy, for the Israeli economy, for the global economy. They know that. But why they cannot accept this reality? Why they cannot stop that? Because they started it. They started with the idea of getting to all the targets, all the objectives in a few hours, then later in a few days. Now they are talking about a few weeks. The CENTCOM is talking about a few months, right? And I am pretty sure because with this idea of bringing the 82 units of airborne forces of the United States in Iraq, most probably Trump is organizing the boots on the ground in Iran. And if it's the case, we are set for a few years of war, attrition war, which means that the total disaster for the world economy, the global economy, we can be sure. But don't forget the logic of quagmire. If we understand that, how the quagmire acted, and we have the example of Vietnam War, that was exactly according the same logic, starting with 50,000 soldiers and finishing with 500,000 soldiers over there, and finally being completely and lamentably defeated by the Viet Congs. So here we are talking about a much more catastrophic case. Look, let's see the same idea just in Lebanon. As you know, Israel tried to make an airborne operation over there, an airborne landing in Lebanon. And as you can see here, the Israeli soldiers have been ambushed by Hezbollah, and they have been targeted. They tried to get away, and that's why they made a second operation in order to save the besieged soldiers. And even this second one was ambushed by Hezbollah. So that's the idea. And what is interesting is this one regarding that specific subject. Hezbollah knew that it cannot have any success if the war is going on remotely. We saw that during 1 year of ceasefire, there was not ceasefire at all. That was a complete unilateral arrangement by the Americans for the benefit of Israel. So Israel was bombing, killing, targeting anything it wanted. But Hezbollah made something clever, militarily speaking. The strength of Hezbollah is in the ground battle, right? The face-to-face battle. So they brought the Israelis now into this kind of fight, the face-to-face fight, right? And they are very good in that. They showed it in 2006 with completely defeating the Israeli army, you remember. And from that moment, Hezbollah knows perfectly that it's able to, hitting strongly the Israeli armies once they are in the Lebanese soil, right? As soon as the Israelis have the boots on the ground in Lebanon, Hezbollah is able to maneuver and to operate. And even it was a gossip, at least according to which we had the rumors that they captured 1 or 2 Israeli soldiers. It seems that's not true, but they tried to do so. So Israelis are now trapped in Lebanon. And that's why instead of trying to do a normal war, a conventional war, face to face, now they want to do something that looks like what they have been doing for 2 years in Gaza. And that's another point that I would like to develop today. We have a very good article. I recommend you to read that in Mondobus. The title is, as you can see, Israel is using the Gaza doctrine in Lebanon and Iran. So what is this and why it's important, and that's why I would like to talk about it a little. So the idea is that, as I told you, Israel cannot participate in any protracted war, any long-term war. It should be short and strong, right? So they know that they cannot fight militarily any force, right? They showed that they are not able even to defeat Hamas as a paramilitary group. Hezbollah is much more stronger, and let alone the Iranian army. So they cannot fight, right? They cannot wage a normal war. So, what did they in Gaza? Gaza doctrine comes, according to this article, from an experience that had been theorized by the Israeli general, and is the Dahia doctrine. Dahia is in the southern Beirut in Lebanon, and this is where in 2006 the area that had been completely erased by Israelis. And from that experience, Israeli in 2008 formulated a theory, the theory or the doctrine of Dahia doctrine, that says that when a force attacks us, to respond to that, what we have to do, in response to any kind of military attack to us, by military, paramilitary forces, whatever. We must act so strong, disproportionately, in such a way that nothing remains really usable after our operation. So this is what they tried to do in Dahia in 2006, and the doctrine of Dahia in 2008 had been applied several times for the part of Gaza between 2008 to 2014, and from 2014 much more with the different operation, multiple and manifold, numerous operation in Gaza till October 2003, and 2003 was 2023 was an opportunity. The October 7, 2023 was the opportunity for Israel to realize completely this doctrine for the whole Gaza. And this is why it was extremely violent, destructive, and genocide was a part of this doctrine. Now, what is the core idea of this doctrine? Look at how inhuman, unethical, and unbelievable is the core message of this doctrine. The idea is that if there is an attack from an area to Israel, it means that there is a context, right? The population living there must be favorable to this kind of operation, or the forces that are carrying out these operations. So that's why the whole context must be completely vanished. The whole context. So we are talking about an area, we are talking about the inhabitation, right? Residential buildings, and anything that exists in that area, industrial, economic, farming, schools, university, and of course the population. The idea is to annihilate completely and disproportionately everything that you find in an area from which you got this attack, right? So in the absence of morals, in the absence of ethics, or anything that this group of people who are called Israelis believe in, they believe in nothing, absolutely nothing. They are the most nihilistic people in the human history. They don't want to get to anything but killing and destruction. So with these people, of course, Dahia doctrine, or the Samson plan for erasing completely life on the planet, it's normal. It's the same. Erasing Gaza or erasing Earth, the planet Earth, is the same thing. To them, is the same thing. Killing 80,000 people or killing 8 billion people is exactly the same, right? Totally, utterly the same. So let me read a part of this article where it's quoted from a general, Israeli general, something very interesting. They are trying to say that we have to put the maximum pressure, on an area that is opposing to us, and says that when senior Israeli figures tell the media it's either us or them, that's the idea. You remember they said that. It's either us or them. We should clarify the question of who is them. Because people thought that them means Hamas fighters. So they are not only Hamas fighters with weapons, but also all the civilian officials, including hospital administrators, school administrators, and also the entire Gaza population. The entire Gaza population that enthusiastically supported Hamas. So now that they started a war that doesn't have any perspective of being successful, because they wanted to make regime change, even I saw that the newspaper belonging to the Israeli Murdoch, Wall Street Journal, look, he's telling that the Iran war's goals have moved from a popular uprising to complete surrender. This is what today Trump formulated as the only condition for ending the war. Complete surrender. The rapid shift continue to model the Trump administration's endgame in Iran. Is very according to Wall Street Journal, even the Israeli Murdoch newspaper, everything is confusing. We don't know exactly what they want, because the United States had been brought, into this war by Israeli. Of course, it didn't decide about that. The decision had been done in Tel Aviv. The United States is just executive. The White House is a little part of the Zionist network. They are just the employees. They are just the servants. They are slaves. They don't have any choice. So now that they triggered a war without any future, but with a lot of negative consequences, of course, for the economy, for society, and you will see that we are going to have the disastrous consequences of this war in the United States, step by step, incrementally, unbelievable negative results. So on the basis of that, we can say that they know that there is no any chance of getting any military victory in this war. So what they want to do is to using this Dahya doctrine or Gaza doctrine in Lebanon, because in Lebanon also the Israeli army cannot really defeat Hezbollah. They tried, and we know that several times they tried and they couldn't, and that's why they have just one choice: a transformation of Lebanon into Gaza. Right? What is Gaza right now? Just a huge, complete destroyed area. So this is what they want to do with Lebanon, the whole Lebanon. And also, this is what they want to do with Iran. This is what Israel desires, really. This is what Israel is eager to do by means of the United States, by way of the American army. They started something that they cannot control. The war is now out of control. In the day 6th, I am telling you that this war is out of control of Israel and the United States. Can they say that? Can they confess it? No, they can't. So that's why the only thing, that's the logic of the quagmire, is just producing a narrative, a completely shallow, empty narrative of victory, preemptive victory, and on the other hand, trying to cause the maximum damage and casualties to Lebanon and to Iran. This is the only card that they have at their disposal. They don't have anything else. And they are not thinking about the aftermath of the total destruction of Lebanon, or total destruction of Iran. The last point that I would like to develop is just for Gaza, they put 2 years to do so. For Iran, they brought, because Israel knew perfectly that it cannot really do it by itself, right? Regarding Lebanon or Iran. So they brought a huge Israel, a bigger Israel, right? Which is the United States. Through the Epstein file, through the threat of assassination of Trump. Trump now is, we can say, the trap is double done, right? He doesn't have any choice. On the one hand, he has these videos and photos that will create a real catastrophe for him in the United States if it's published, and Mossad can publish it in a second if it wants, in order to put an end to the political and even to the literally life of president, right? And on the other hand, the assassination by the Iranians, by the Israeli Iranians. So now Trump is completely trapped, and for the sake of his life, he doesn't have anything but following step by step, by the book, what is dictated by Israel. And that's why, and that's where everything serious is at stake. If you want to know what's in danger, I am telling you, the future of world, the future of the planet, the future of life is in the hands of this little group. And we are talking about a group of people who are completely mad. We are talking about the insane people. And I am pretty sure that their craziness will result in a huge catastrophe for the whole planet, for the whole humanity. I don't have any doubt about that. But let me just develop this last point and finish this presentation. What they want to do is to carry out the Daya doctrine or Gaza doctrine in Lebanon and in Iran. But I am telling you that there is a little problem for this wishful thinking. There is something that the Iranians are able to do that the Americans and the Israelis cannot get around, cannot evade that. Even though they tried from the beginning of this war, the Americans tried to cut corners for the details, strategic plan, having the clear goals and objectives. But we are talking about something Iranians can make a big deal out of it for the Americans and for the Israelis. What is this? You remember In our yesterday's video, I told you that this is a total war, right? And we said that total war cannot really last, because in order to transform Iran into Gaza, the United States will need something like 2, 3, 5 years, with a huge amount of weaponries, ammunition, soldiers, and so on, so that it can really transform Iran into Gaza as Israel is dictating and desiring, and is trying to get that by means of the Americans. So we know that such a thing for the American economy won't be possible, and for the Israeli society as well. As we said, they cannot really enter in any war of attrition. Iranians can rise the price, the cost of such a war for Americans, for Israelis, very easily. The first thing is completely closing in the Strait of Hormuz, not by just targeting, for example, the ships over there, but through something even more radical, which means to send thousands and thousands of marine mines over there. These mines are small but extremely dangerous, and Iran prepared something like thousands and thousands of that. And I'm pretty sure that by a little operation they can launch, I don't know how many, they can pour how many of these mines, maritime mines, in that area. So from the moment these mines are there, no ship can really go there or pass there. So it requires a huge operation of, I don't know, a U.S. Navy or the countries around, in order to neutralize one after another these mines. And we are talking about hundreds or even thousands that Iranian can put there, right? So, which means that 20 to 25% of the global energy market could be stopped for, we don't know, weeks, months, years. That means destruction of a great part of the global economy, including the economy of the Arab countries in the region. And we know that if they cannot really make money, there won't be any new order, there won't be any commerce with the developed country, there won't be any investment. So think about just the chain of events that can be triggered by one action the Iranians can do. And they have, if I don't exaggerate, they have between 5 to 10 cards like these to play. This is a very extremely dangerous game in light of the idea of bombing Iran to transform it into Gaza, right? If the Iranians know that they are getting annihilated completely by the Americans, by Israeli, they are going to do so. They are going to play these cards. One of them is just what I told you. Another one is to attack to all the oil industry, oil facilities, oil installations in the region, in such a way that they become completely irreparable for years. They can't do that. Not only they can do that, the Hashd al-Shabi in Iraq can do it. Houthi in Yemen can also do it. So the Arab countries can be, dragged into the Middle Age or the Stone Age once they don't have anything remained from their oil and gas installation. And Iran can do that. Almost easily can do that because it has already tried and showed that it's very easy to them with drones, with missiles, or any other kinds of operation. Another thing is the possibility of attacking the nuclear facilities of Israel. We talked about that last night with targeting Dimona. It would be a catastrophe in Israel and even in the whole region, triggering, we said, the nuclear war, right? The Iranians can put a lot of casualties, cause a lot of casualties to the Americans if ever Washington makes this mistake for, booting in the grounds. So from that moment you will see what kind of issues the American army is going to have. So I can go on and on for other cases that are possible for the Iranians, to harm really bad Israel and the United States. And almost none of them is far-fetched, right? All of them are to some extent possible. And I'm pretty sure that Iranians, from the moment they feel that their existence is threatened and Israel and the United States want to obliterate their being, their existence, they won't calculate anything more as consideration, and they will act, we can say, in a suicidal way, right? And that will be fatal for the United States and for Israel. So that's the particularity of total war. Don't forget that. The total war is a war in which you don't dismiss anything. You don't put aside any boundary, any borderline, any limitation, and you try to do whatever is possible to annihilate completely the other side. Iran is not there yet, but if it's pushed, if really United States does what Israel is dictating, what Israel is guiding toward, I am pretty sure that Iran will make a change, a serious shift, and from that moment the real war starts, the real total war starts. We will see. And for myself, and in order to produce these videos, I am monitoring with my friends all these topics, and we will see ups and downs, and from the moment we have some new ideas, new points, I make a video. For now I am doing it on a daily basis, and I hope that you find these videos useful, and I ask your support by subscribing to this YouTube channel and by sharing these videos. Okay, you can help me with sharing these videos so that more people can see and know a different point of view from what usually is presented by the conventional commentator and analyst, and here we try to present a different analysis of the situation, and I hope that you can find it interesting. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that I can have your comments, because through the comments you can give me feedback, and I will be happy to take into consideration what you say. And from the moment I have this feedback, I can improve effectively the presentation as is necessary. Thank you very much for watching this video.